What do you guys do in the morning before you came to class? I'm pretty sure you guys woke up, turned on the lights, went to your bathroom, washed up, went to the refrigerator, got something to eat, put it in the microwave, warm it up, and all that stuff. What do all those have in common? All of them use electricity. Electricity is what runs society. No matter how we get it, it's like everywhere around us. From stoplights to your household appliances like the refrigerator and everything. So, I've been doing research on this for a couple weeks now, and I intend after this semester to transfer to an engineer program, so I more or less know the basics of electricity and how everything's produced. That's why today I want to talk about today I want to inform you all of the process, safety measures, disposal, and usages of nuclear power that is used in today's society. Before I tell you how everything works, I want to introduce you to how nuclear energy is made. Pretty much, there are two different kinds of the way nuclear power is made. The first type is this one right here, and this one is it uses two different bodies of water. To begin, right here on the number one, that is where the nuclear activity actually begins with the uranium and all that. After that heats up the water around it, it sends it all the way across and up into this little part right here. And in this area right here is where the actual energy comes into play. It makes the heat so the steam comes up and around it, and then comes in a circle and redirects the process. More or less, it's like this. The second type of way it's made, instead of having two different types of bodies with the steam coming here to boil this water, it just has one part, and that spins the turbine. Okay, so that's pretty much like the very basic of it. Now I'm going to explain like right inside how the uranium actually affects everything else. What's actually inside is two different kinds of chemicals and like different materials. There's a very low amount of uranium-235, and that is very radioactive. That's like one of the main parts of what's going on. But there's also a larger concentration, but with potential, is uranium-238. Pretty much what happens is that inside that area, what happens with the radiation is that the uranium the atoms begin to split. Like neutrons are getting taken away, like chemistry and stuff like that. It starts getting taken away, and when one neutron gets taken away, it creates a lot of heat, and that's where the energy comes into play. After the atom comes out from the atom, it hits another one and causes a chain reaction, so it continues hitting another one, and that one breaks apart, sends another atom, and so on and so on. So pretty much that's how the main parts in there actually work with the uranium, and that causes the heat, and that's how the water inside here starts to boil and warm up like that, and that's what sends it around. And as I mentioned before, it heats up here. The water starts ending up here. That's very hot. Starts going right here, and right here the water is extremely hot, but it's past boiling, but because it is under pressurized, it doesn't actually turn to steam yet. And then in this area is where another body of water comes, so as it comes by, it heats it up, and this water does turn into steam, the one in the red and the blue, so it turns into steam, it comes around, and this part is where the actual steam passing by the turbines and generators, that's where it actually influences, and that's where the electricity is made. So pretty much that's the basics of it, and I just want to tell you about the side effects of this whole thing, the nuclear waste that is come about it. Because all the uranium in this area right there, it does relatively is not as much waste as compared to others. In about a year, a nuclear plant creates about 30 tons of nuclear waste, which is not too bad. The amount that is, since 30 years ago when nuclear power was first started, all that waste put together from America, it will cover a football field and 5 feet and 5 yards deep. That's how much nuclear waste has been made in the 30 years since it's been used. And I got that one from POS.net that describes the whole process of nuclear power. And to show that this is a very effective method, that it's not just the U.S. who's using it, but as you guys know, it's a very new form of energy that's relatively easy to make and cheap. I got countries such as, like a country is France, and they base their whole, pretty much the whole electricity and everything off this nuclear power. 75% of electricity is made in nuclear power plants and all that. Let's see, they create so much that they're able to create enough energy for all their citizens, and they also export a lot of the electricity into neighboring countries such as Belgium, Germany, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, and the UK. And pretty much got that from the worldnuclear.org. Let's see, but there are some drawbacks to this sort of solution, like this sort of power, if it's not monitored correctly. There was an incident in Chernobyl in Ukraine, in which this same kind of system happened, but because it was less man-maintained and less regulations, the uranium in this area exploded and caused a radiation on the neighboring areas. And this is a picture of the power plant and what happened. I don't know if you guys can see it, but like pretty much in that giant area, it's like blew a giant hole in the whole building, in which in that same part, within a few hours of that explosion, 2 workers died from the toxic radiation. And within the 4 months, there was 138 workers there that also got affected, that were exposed to the high levels of radiation. And within that 4 months, there was 32 that perished because of overexposure to it. This explosion went over for 30 miles, in a 30-mile radius, so they had to evacuate the whole area. They had containment of over 200,000 people to clean up and all that stuff. But this is like some of the drawbacks of the nuclear power, that if it is not monitored, it could cause a lot of problems and be very dangerous to everyone around. But more or less, in summary, so pretty much I talked about how the nuclear power is made, the process it goes through, the way it is taken, the waste is managed and everything, and how the nuclear energy is used today and have accidents today. Thank you guys.
So Stephanie, what did you think?
I thought the pieces were clear, but you didn't really say how you were going to organize the speech. The transitions, I wasn't too sure about where your transitions were. You had pretty good citations, and your summary was really good as well. And the visuals really worked for your speech. And overall, your speech was an interesting topic, and it was getting kind of persuasive in the end, but I'm not sure. But it was pretty good.